Just to be clear, you're accusing the CIA of lying to you in September of 2002.
Misleading the Congress of the United States.
And
misleading the Congress of the United States. Throughout my career, I have proud to have worked on human rights and against torture around the world. I say this with great pride because it has been a great focus of my time, both even before I came to Congress and here. As ranking member of the Foreign Operations Subcommittee of Appropriations, I helped secure the first funding for the Torture Victims Relief Act to assist those suffering from the physical and psychological effects of torture. I unequivocally oppose the use of torture by our government because it is contrary to our national values. Like all members of Congress who are briefed on classified information, I have signed oaths pledging not to disclose any of that information. This is an oath I have taken very seriously, and I've always abided by it. The CIA briefed me only once on enhanced interrogation techniques in September 2002 in my capacity as ranking member of the Intelligence Committee. I was informed then that the Department of Justice opinions had concluded that the use of enhanced interrogation techniques were legal. The only mention of waterboarding at that briefing was that it was not being employed. Those conducting the briefing promised to inform the appropriate members of Congress if that technique were to be used in the future. Congress and the American people now know that contrary to the opinions within the executive branch concluded that these interrogation techniques were not legal. However, those opinions were not shared with Congress. We also now know that techniques including waterboarding had already been employed and that those briefing me in September 2002 gave me inaccurate and incomplete information. At the same time, the Bush administration, is exactly the same time, September of 2002, the fall of 2002, at the same time the Bush administration was misleading the American people about the threat of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. 5 months later, in February 2003, a member of my staff informed me that the Republican chairman and the Democratic ranking member of the Intelligence Committee had been briefed about the use of certain techniques which had been the subject of earlier legal opinions. Following that briefing, a letter raising concerns was sent to CIA General Counsel Scott Mueller by the new Democratic ranking member of the committee, the appropriate person to register a protest. But no letter could change the policy. It was clear we had to change the leadership in Congress and in the White House. That was my job, the Congress part. When Democrats assumed control of the Congress in 2007, Congress passed legislation banning torture and requiring all government agencies to abide by the Army Field Manual. President Bush vetoed this bill, barring the use of torture. An effort to overturn his veto failed because of the votes of Republican members. We needed to elect a new president. We did, and he has banned torture. Congress and the administration must review, I've always believed that Congress and the administration must review the National Security Act of 1947. Now we have a chance to do that with the new president, to determine if a larger number of members of Congress should receive classified briefings so that the information can be utilized by proper oversight and legislative activity without violating oaths of secrecy. I have long supported creation of an independent truth commission to determine how intelligence was misused and how controversial and possibly illegal activities like torture were authorized within the executive branch. Until a truth commission comes into being, I encourage the appropriate committees of the House to conduct vigorous oversight of these issues. The Bush administration has conceived a policy. The CIA comes to the Congress, withholds information about the timing and the use of this subject. We later find out that it had been taking place before they even briefed us about the legal opinions and told us that they were not being used. This is a tactic, a diversionary tactic to take the spotlight off of those who conceived, developed, and implemented these policies, which all of us long opposed. My action on it was just further to say we have to change the majority in Congress. We have to win the White House so that we can change it.
Just to be clear, you're accusing the CIA of lying to you in September of 2002.
Misleading the Congress of the United States.
And
misleading
also
the Congress of the United States.